Well, hello everyone. I'm John McElroy, and I'm your host with the Florida Aviation Network. We are broadcasting live and in the clear from the terminal building here at the Sebring Airport during the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo 2018, and we are flying into the future. Our guest today is David St. George with SAFE, the Society of Aviation and Flight Educators, and it's my pleasure to have you with us on our program today. How are you?
I'm great, John. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here at Sebring finally.
Great. We've got a lot to talk about, and there's some exciting things happening with your organization. We've got a forum to broadcast out to the rest of the world exactly what's happening, and I see that you've got basically the 5 big things. If you want to go into the website, you can see.
Sure. Yeah.
Safepilot.org, right?
Safepilot.org is a good place to start, and the front page will, tell you about everything we're doing. Obviously, this is featured today, being at the Sport Expo. We haven't attended this before, and it's a very exciting show. I think if people are watching and they haven't been to Sebring, they really ought to access this venue.
It's a great venue. Here we are in the middle of January. It's not, an 80-degree day, but it's a nice day. Everybody's outside enjoying the show, and they're going to talk with you about your organization as well.
Well, yeah, and coming from upstate New York last night, I can tell you it sure beats the snow. Anyway, SAFE is here to meet our members. We've been doing a lot of the AOPA shows in addition to Sun and Fun and Oshkosh, and we have expanded our membership tremendously in the last 3 years, almost doubled it, so very
Congratulations.
happy. And shows like this are what do it. I really appreciate that. So SAFE is the Society of Aviation and Flight Educators, and obviously with that educators word, our focus is primarily on flight instructors and raising the professionalism of the flight instructor community. With that said, we've been getting a lot of members, private, even sport pilots, because our benefits save people so much money.
Well, it's certainly some of the benefits that are listed as we talk about on that website, starting with flight instructor liability insurance as a group. That's a huge thing. I'm a flight instructor too, and I can really relate to many of the things that you're discussing about professionalism and education, bringing in new people to support the cause of safety in flight education. So, I'm all about what you guys are listing here. So building aviation safety through education, that's the biggest thing for you, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. And as you know, right now in aviation, there's this giant sucking sound as everyone's being pulled into charter and the airlines. People spend very little time as a CFI, and we really have to reach those people. As you know, they're coming right out of academies with very little background, and they need the mentorship of senior aviators. SAFE has so many master instructors, DPEs, very experienced people to mentor the new CFI, to mentor even, you're trying out a new plane. Say you're just getting into sport and you haven't done it. Talk to a SAFE mentor that has done a lot of sport, and we're going to have a safer operation.
That distinguishes that educator, too, as a member of SAFE, that they are mentors in the program. It's not just some stepping stone for them that allows them to move on. They've taken that extra step to be more proactive in educating pilots and introducing safety, and they're the flag bearers, as it were, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And as you said, a lot of our members are the professional CFIs that stay in the field. They're not going to the airlines. And a lot of our programs are designed to really help the CFI to achieve a worthy career. To build like you said, the insurance, you got to have those things. You have to have insurance, you have to have a website, you have to be on Twitter and Facebook. You really have to be an independent business in addition to being a CFI.
Well, make no mistake about it. You can make a living as a flight instructor and do quite well at it. The big impetus now is to go into the airlines, and a lot of people have that big dream, but at the same time, I got it from speaking from personal experience. When I was in the airlines, I gravitated into the training department, and it came out to be that, my heart lies in education. So I think there are hundreds of people out there that have that same thing. Was that true for you? Where did it come out from?
I kind of went the other way, which is I had a family at home, and I was a flight instructor, and my wife said, you're not going to be gone that much time. Right. So I spent 25 years running a 141 flight school and only recently got into charter flying.
Where was that?
Upstate New York.
Okay.
So a challenging, environment to work in, but we turned out a lot of good pilots. We had an aviation education program associated with a college, so people got a degree. But SAFE has a different mission. You know, we're national, we're reaching out internationally. One of the big things I want people to know, if they haven't accessed it, is our app for the CFI. It's called the CFI Toolkit, and it's on Android and Apple, and it's a free download. And as you know, one of the big challenges for CFIs is getting everything correct when they go to the examiner. I'm a pilot examiner, and when a young person comes in and we look at the endorsements and they don't add up,
you know,
we're not testing.
There's a certain litmus test here that doesn't fly sometimes.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. And very quickly a DPE can see, you know, if somebody is prepared. So the Safe Toolkit app, like I said, Android, Apple, free, and it's even got Sebring featured on it right now. So it's very up to date and very easy for you to work in the field and get all those 61, 65 endorsements.
Definitely. Don't wait. Just go ahead and download that right now as well. So get on there, and that's the CFI Toolkit from SAFE. So let's talk about Judgment, the ACS, Judgment in Aviation, February 8th. What's going on with that?
Okay, well, yeah, I have on this little flyer for the show, Rod Machado, February 8th, live stream. What SAFE's been doing increasingly to reach our people and to reach pilots as well as CFIs is presenting online with Gold Seal live stream seminars, and you can get Master Wings February 8th, 8 o'clock. You tune in and watch the show, answer the quiz questions, and you can get Master Wings in addition to seeing Rod Machado, who's a wonderful presenter.
You know, those of us who have been around a while sort of fell asleep with Rod's books on our chest. And, you know, that's how we learned to fly, because, you know, nobody was really telling those great stories like he would.
Yeah. And, you know, this one, the improbable turn, they have always called it the impossible turn.
Right.
We called it the improbable turn, and the phone rang immediately with the National FAA Safety Central saying, what are you doing, Dave? We've gotten a lot of blowback on this in the past, and we had to really assure them that we were going to present it correctly. And that's Rod and I talked about it. So it's a very tricky topic to present correctly, and that's why we have Rod Machado to be on board. So February 8th, if you go to Gold Seal Ground School Online/live, or just go to the SAFE website, safepilots.org, you'll see a link for that. And if you register with the FAA, you can get Master Wings. Usually we have a headset. Usually it's a Bose or a Lightspeed to give away. So tune in and enjoy the show. And as we know, Wings makes pilots safer. So FAA Wings is a great program to be attached to.
You have so many co-sponsors that support you. I've noticed that the Fast Team's on there. Like you said, Rob Machado, guys like that. You're involved with other instructor organizations, and you know, we're saying similar things, but you guys are saying it in a special way.
Well, yeah, and I was, you know, one of the things we talk about is how much SAFE has done to change the, you know, the PTS went to the ACS as a result of our symposium in Atlanta. We met, Greg Babbitt was there, the FAA administrator. We talked for 2 days, and we came up with some changes. It took 6 years to make it, but now in every pilot training standard, you have judgment, you have risk management. SAFE is very big on advocating with the FAA for a safer materials, curriculums, because that's where it all starts. When a student trains, they're going to get that initial imprint. It's going to be from their CFI, but it's also based on what they're training toward. So if you don't embed risk management, you don't have a safe pilot. So, and
as instructors, we have a saying, first learned, best learned. So when you start out with that beginning toolkit of assessing a scenario, with a quantitative-based, toolkit like the mobile app that we've been talking about, you can go out and really just elevate it just by doing a little more groundwork. And, you know, we used to watch people who would do this on their own. Remember, this wasn't quantified in our days. We knew guys would do it, but maybe we weren't doing it, and we started doing it, or...
Yes, no, in fact, you know, I just passed 20 years as a DPE, and I can tell you the whole trade has changed now. It's a very different test we're given. It used to be they'd fire you these rote questions, you know, what's VX, what's VY?
Right.
Now it's all scenario-based, and that's how life happens for a pilot. When you get in the cockpit and you have a choice, it's not going to be 3 buttons and you press one. It's going to be, how do I work my way through this situation to achieve a safe outcome? So
we still have those scenarios where, you start out on your cross-country trip and you're going to go from A to B, and along the way, something different is going to happen, and you don't really end up going there. So we still got that going on. But when you combine the elements that you're discussing with that foundation of quantification of safety items, the safety level, and really for me, when I teach it, it's all about the fun factor.
Yeah,
man, that's the tiebreaker. If you're wondering whether you're doing something right or not, it's really comes down to, hey, am I still having a good time?
Right. Don't scare yourself. Don't scare someone else. Have a good time.
Definitely.
No, and I think AOPA has been very actively addressing rusty pilots. They got the basic med passed, and that's brought 25,000 new pilots back into aviation. So we're trying to get them involved in wings. We're trying to get CFIs who are ready to present to them and take a senior aviator and bring them safely back into the field. That's one of the big missions of Safe Lately too, is to get the CFIs up to that level to do that job. But the PTS originally, was just a series of numbers, and now it's got the scenarios embedded. I really think that was a big, important change Safe achieved.
It is, and I like it as a factor. The issue with we're talking about Safe as an organization for flight educators, but don't forget, this is not just for instructors. This is for pilots and everybody coming into the program.
That's correct, yeah.
Because it's a partnership with all of us. We all want to see you succeed. As educators, we are in the business of creating success for you. But, there's nothing like being in on the ground floor of what we're talking about and why we're talking about it, and that's what you're advocating.
Yes, and one of the things we touched on earlier there, John, was this whole idea of CFIs achieving a professional credential, making a living as a CFI. And, I want young CFIs to know that you don't have to go lockstep into the airlines to get your time. That's not necessarily going to make you a better aviator. Teaching people, we both know that when you teach people, that's when you really learn. So if you want to increase your skills as a pilot, teaching is a very good way to achieve that. And the steps are there, and we have many examples of people who didn't go to the airlines and are now doing very well, running schools, DPE, master instructors. They get those credentials, and then people come to them.
Boy,
there's a crying need right now.
And even in their airport operations and educating the ground staff and the weather guys and up in the tower, it goes all sorts of ways, not just in flying and airplane and pilot. It goes way out there.
Well, and that's really what it is, isn't it, John? It's the big context. People who do well in this trade have a really wide vision. They understand airport operations. They understand what that person needs so that we're working as a team together. One of the things when I ran my school, one of the best things was working with ATC, because we get a lot of foreign students.
Isn't it great to go over there?
Yeah, and you get a team working, and suddenly, people are less stressed. And
you put a face with the radio call in your ear.
Yep.
What a difference that makes. Absolutely. I love spending time behind the scope and getting that sense of what those guys are doing if I'm talking to them.
That's why he said to do that, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Well, we only have about one more minute left. What's the last message we want to leave the viewers with your organization?
Well, to access Safe, probably it's online because, we are a virtual organization nationally. So I would say go to safepilots.org and make sure you download the Safe Toolkit app. It's, like I said, on the Apple and Android. It's free. And immediately you've got all those documents from the FAA in your pocket to work with. You're looking for that endorsement, it's going to be right there. Don't send them to a DPE with some crappy endorsement and put them in a bad state for that flight test.
It's and that happens within the first 5 minutes, don't forget.
Oh,
so
man.
It doesn't go well after that.
The adrenaline goes through the ceiling. I've had them where it just says somewhere in the comments, okay to solo, and it's like, oh, what do I do with that?
Yeah.
You're not even qualified to fly in today. So, as a professional pilot, as a CFI, you really have to bring the level up, and that's what SAFE's doing. It's helping CFIs achieve professionalism.
And we're going to end it at that. And I just want to thank you so much for being here with us on our show with the Florida Aviation Network.
Oh, thank you for having me, John.
It's important work that you're doing.
We always like working with you. You guys have a good reach and do a great job.
Okay. So reporting from the terminal building here at the Sebring Airport during the U.S. Sport Aviation Exposition 2018, flying into the future, I'm John McElroy. We'll see you on our next interview.